Ever looked at your history textbook and thought, man, this is dry? Well, put down that highlighter because history is actually a fever dream of gross habits, embarrassing defeats, and miracles that defy logic. Welcome to Whale Facts, where today we're diving into the absolute madness of the past. We're talking about Romans using pee as mouthwash, the time the Australian army lost a literal war to a bunch of giant birds, and the man who stood at ground zero of 2 atomic blasts and lived to tell the tale. Buckle up, it's about to get weird. Let's start in ancient Rome. Now, we usually think of Rome as this pinnacle of civilization, marble statues, philosophy, and impressive aqueducts. But if you actually stepped into a Roman street, your first thought wouldn't be, wow, so majestic. It would be, why does everything smell like a truck stop bathroom? You see, the Romans had a literal obsession with urine. They didn't just see it as waste, they saw it as liquid gold. Why? Ammonia. Before the invention of modern chemicals, ammonia was the go-to cleaning agent, and human urine is packed with it. This led to a massive industry. Romans actually placed large jars on street corners for people to relieve themselves, which were then collected by felons, the Roman equivalent of dry cleaners. If you took your favorite toga to the laundromat back then, the process was intense. These felons would throw your clothes into a giant vat filled with aged, fermented urine. Then, a worker would jump in and stomp on your clothes, basically acting as a human washing machine. The ammonia would break down the grease and stains. So, technically, the Romans were walking around in clothes cleaned by the collective bladders of the neighborhood. It was so profitable that Emperor Vespasian even placed a tax on public urine. When his son Titus complained that it was disgusting, Vespasian supposedly held up a gold coin and said, "Peconia non olet," money doesn't smell. But it gets worse. Romans didn't just use pee for their clothes, they used it for their teeth. They believed that rinsing with urine would keep their pearly whites bright and firm. In fact, they specifically sought out Portuguese urine, which was rumored to be the strongest and most effective on the market. Imagine waking up in 50 AD, grabbing a flask of imported yellow mouthwash and giving it a good swish. Science actually backs them up. The ammonia does whiten teeth, but I think we'll stick to peppermint, thanks. The gross out factor doesn't end there. Have you heard of the xylospongium? In Roman public toilets, there was no toilet paper. Instead, they used a sea sponge tied to a wooden stick. And here's the kicker. It was a shared sponge. You'd use it, rinse it in a bucket of salt water or vinegar, and leave it for the next guy. It was basically a revolving door for bacteria. To top it all off, they were accidentally poisoning themselves. They loved a sweetener called sapa, made by boiling unfermented grape juice. The problem, they boiled it in lead pots. The lead reacted with the juice to create sugar of lead, which tasted great but caused brain damage, infertility, and gout. Some historians argue that the lead-induced madness of Roman emperors contributed to the fall of the empire. So between the leaded wine, the shared bathroom sponges, and the urine mouthwash, it's a miracle the Romans conquered anything at all. Now let's fast forward to 1932, to a conflict so bizarre it sounds like a rejected Pixar movie script, the Great Emu War. After World War I, the Australian government gave land to returning veterans to farm wheat. But then came the Great Depression, and then came the enemy, 20,000 emus. These 6-foot-tall birds were migrating inland and found the veterans' lush wheat fields to be a literal all-you-can-eat buffet. They didn't just eat the crops, they smashed fences, letting rabbits in to finish the job. The farmers, being former soldiers, didn't call the Department of Agriculture, they called the Ministry of Defense. The government, perhaps looking for a PR win, sent in Major G.P.W. Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery. He brought 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. He literally thought this would be target practice. On November 2nd, the war began. The military spotted about 50 emus and attempted to ambush them. But the emus, they had a strategy. As soon as the guns opened fire, the birds split into small groups and ran in every direction. The Lewis guns, designed for stationary trench warfare, couldn't hit a target moving at 30 miles per hour through the brush. A few days later, they tried a new tactic. They mounted a machine gun on a truck to chase the birds down. This failed spectacularly. The ground was too bumpy for the gunner to aim, and the truck was actually slower than the emus. At one point, one emu even got tangled in the steering wheel, causing the truck to crash into a fence. The official military report was embarrassing. Major GPW Meredith noted that the emus had guerrilla tactics. Each pack seemingly had a leader, a large black-plumed bird that would stand watch while the others ate, then signaled them to run the moment a soldier moved. The emus were taking multiple bullets and just walking it off. Meredith famously said, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world." After a month of combat, the army had spent nearly 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The official kill count? Estimates range from just a few hundred to 1,000 birds. The remaining 19,000 emus were still there, still eating wheat and seemingly laughing at the Australian military. The government eventually withdrew the troops, marking the emus as the undisputed victors. It remains the only time in history a professional military lost a war to a flightless bird. So next time you feel like you're having a bad day, just remember you didn't lose a machine gun fight to a giant chicken. From the absurdity of a bird war, we move to a story that is genuinely hard to believe, yet it's 100% documented fact. Meet Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a man who might just be the luckiest or unluckiest human to ever walk the earth. On August 6, 1945, Yamaguchi, a young engineer for Mitsubishi, was in Hiroshima on a business trip. It was his final day in the city, and he was heading to the shipyard to finish up some paperwork. Suddenly, at 8:15 a.m., he heard the drone of a plane and looked up just in time to see a small object falling from the sky. Then, the world turned white. The Little Boy atomic bomb had just detonated less than 2 miles from where he stood. Yamaguchi was blown off his feet, his eardrums ruptured, and his upper body severely burned. In the chaos that followed, he spent a terrifying night in an air raid shelter. Most people would have given up right there, but Yamaguchi was determined to get home to his wife and child. Where was home? A little city called Nagasaki. He crawled to the train station the next day through a landscape that looked like the end of the world, and somehow managed to catch a train back to Nagasaki. By August 9th, he was back in Nagasaki, bandaged and exhausted, sitting in his boss's office. His boss, like most people at the time, simply couldn't believe his story. He asked Yamaguchi, "How could a single bomb destroy a whole city? You're sounding like a madman." Right at that exact moment, as Yamaguchi was trying to explain the heat and the pressure, the room filled with that same haunting, iridescent light. The second atomic bomb, Fat Man, had just exploded over Nagasaki. In a twist of fate that defies all statistical probability, Yamaguchi was once again about 2 miles from ground zero, and once again he survived. He scrambled to find his family, and miraculously, they had also survived the blast in a reinforced shelter he had insisted they use. For decades, Yamaguchi lived a relatively quiet life, but in his later years, he became a powerful voice for nuclear disarmament. He was the only person officially recognized by the Japanese government as a Niju Hibakusha, or twice-bombed person. What's even more incredible? Despite being exposed to massive amounts of radiation twice in 3 days, he didn't succumb to illness in his youth. He lived to be 93 years old, passing away in 2010. His story isn't just a historical footnote, it's a testament to the sheer resilience of the human spirit. It's a reminder that even when the world is literally exploding around you, there is a chance to endure. It's one of those facts that makes you realize reality is often more cinematic than anything Hollywood could ever write. From cleaning teeth with urine to losing wars against giant birds and surviving the most destructive weapons ever created, human history is a chaotic, messy, and absolutely fascinating ride. It's these strange threads that connect us to the past and remind us how far we've come and how weird we've always been. If you enjoy these deep dives into the bizarre, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Whale Facts, for more mind-blowing stories. Which of these facts shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. See you in the next one.